Hello and welcome to Create with Chris. I'm Chris coming to you live or on a replay from Worthington, Minnesota, and I have created my own insanity. I decided I was bored last week, and so I asked people to challenge me to make some cards with a couple parameters. I wanted them to tell me what the occasion or the event was, what colors to use, and anything extra. So I'm on card number 2. Let's see, I can't remember who. Heidi Teet challenged me to make a 4th of July pop-up card. Okay, here we go. Challenge accepted. Let me flip that. There we go. Okay, so tweaking just a little here. No problem. All right, we're going to be using the painted stripes. And I need to do one more thing here. There we go. So it stops zooming in and out. Painted stripes cling stamp set. And I've mounted it onto the large block. I've pre-cut some paper, so hang on, we'll get to that. I've got 2, and I'm using real red. Okay, let me get this all inked up. Yes, there are a variety of other ways on how to do this, but this is my go-to for today. Grab my chamois. All right, now I know I'm going to get ink on my glass mat, but that is the beauty of the glass mat. I'm also not sure. Ooh, do I want this? All right, it's going to have to go this way. And you hope it's straight-ish, right? I probably should have just purposefully done it on an angle. It looks pretty straight, though. All right, not too bad. Let me wipe this off. And we'll ink it up again and do the second one. I kind of wish I had done it on an angle now. I'm gonna, just for curiosity's sake, I'm going to do this one on the angle. I can always turn it over, right? Nope, it won't fit that way. All right. Here we go. Make a mess. Flip it off. Get this out of my way so that I don't get ink anywhere else. And I'll clean that off when we're done. All right. So I have 2 pieces of cardstock. These are, I believe they are 4 7/8. 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. All right, got that done. Set that out of the way here. I have also, because I didn't have the right size dies or punch, I've used my Cricut, and so I have several stars in a variety of sizes and shapes. So we'll just get those off the mat and see how we're going to use those on my 4th of July pop-up card. All right, and now I have 2 pieces of Night of Navy cardstock. It's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper cut in half at 5 1/2, and then scored cut to 4 7/8 and scored at 4 1/4. Whew, if you followed that, way to go. It's a half a sheet of paper. I'm going to put it back together here so you can see exactly what I did there. All right, so it was a full sheet of cardstock. If you can picture the other half over here, cut in half at 5 1/2. Each one of these was scored at 4 7/8. No, cut at 4 7/8 and scored at 4 1/4. So sorry. Okay, I think by now some of you are figuring out what we're going to do here. Let me bring in my tear tape. I have some strips of, and full disclosure, I've not practiced this. I watched a quick little video. I'm bringing in my tear tape, and I have some strips of window sheet. I've cut them at 4 inches by 1/2 inch. And I am going to stick these on here. I don't necessarily, I don't know if they're supposed to be straight or not. The person's video that I saw only had 3, but I want more. I also don't have any idea what length I want them. And so I made them all the same. Let's see if this works out here. Pretty darn good. I might move a couple over just a little. Nope, we're just going to leave them. Okay, now I'm going to put another piece of tear tape on here. I hope this qualifies as a pop-up card. I just thought stars popping up for a 4th of July card just seemed to be very appropriate. All right, I'm going to line these up. Let me line up the part that I know. Oops, that's not right. This way. Line up the part that I know is, I'm going to use my trimmer for this because I can put this right down here in the corner. All right. Those lined up perfectly. Awesome. All right, so here's what we have. And you'll see that there's going to be pop-ups. Okay, let's get my stripes in here. It's going to be a bit abstract since this is not the way the stars and stripes are lined up, although that way looks kind of cool. And I wanted this on both sides. Okay. Okay, so my card is going to be opening like that. All right, so now let's play with these stars, and I'm going to use glue dots because they are pretty permanent. Let me, before I do that, let's kind of lay these out here, and I'm just going to slip a piece of darker paper in here so I can see what I'm doing, and so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so maybe one here, and one here, and another one. Just willy-nilly. Willy-nilly. Let's start. I don't want any of them to go up over the top of this 4-inch strip, but they can overlap and they can turn and twist. And I will be trimming off the leftover clear window sheet. So no worries there. Let's get this little guy up here. What I like about the mini glue dots is that they're instant and they're pretty strong. Let's put a little one over here. I don't want that hanging off the edge of the card. And we need one here, also not hanging over the edge. And let's use that last one. You know, I really just cut a random number. I had no idea how many strips I needed, and I had no idea how many stars I needed. So the stars are aligning for me today. All right, now I'm going to trim off the excess without trimming off the glue dot. Let's see, how am I going to do that one? I'm going to be finding these pieces of clear window sheet on my floor, I imagine. I'm just going to trim this one a little bit so there's not quite so much plastic showing. All right, let's get the black out of the way here. Oh, there's one more star. Okay. All right. Do you see how this is going to work when they open it up? Pop up stars. That's fun. That is fun. I love it. Now, I could put the same stars on the back side here, but I didn't cut them and I didn't keep track of sizes or anything. So we're not going to mess around with that. All right, let's go ahead and do the cover of this card, the front of the card. All right, so I need another piece of cardstock for the front. So I'm going to cut this one. Let me use my handy dandy tool here. I'm going to cut it 3 3/4 by 5. 3, let's go 3, and it's already trimmed at 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. All right, so this is going to be my front. I didn't clean off my stamp yet here. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of stripe on here. And this time I am going to randomly there. Ooh, look at all that ink on my board. I'm going to use a wet one for that. My chamois has gotten completely covered in red ink today. All right. Random. While that's drying, I have the word hooray. I'm going to pull out my Night of Navy, which is the same color that I used for the card base. Okay, my glass mat is damp now. Always something, right, folks? Always something. All right, let's do hooray. Hooray. Hooray, hooray. And then I have, this is from the birthday celebrations set. So I'm pulling that in. Let me grab some scraps. Happy. And then I have the dies that go with this set. So I have the 4 here. And let's go ahead and cut that out of a scrap of red. I'm going to be cutting that off camera so I don't have to bring my machine over. Oops, wrong plate. Always something. Die cutting out the 4. There we go. And let's see. I'm also going to put the TH on here, but I think I'm going to trim that down. Happy 4th. Wouldn't this be cute if you had a 4th birthday on the 4th of July? Oh, so cute. I'm trimming this down just a little. I don't want to fussy cut it, but I wanted the 4 a little bigger. There we go. All right. Here's a little gluing trick. I'll bring in my glue mat. And when things are this skinny, sometimes I just put some glue on my mat here. Get a little bit of glue on the back using my pick tool. Let's move that down just a little bit. You have a little wiggle room when you use the green glue. There we go. Set this aside, let it dry, and then this just peels right off. All right, and then I think I want that to be a little darker. I think, first of all, I want this to be a banner. So I'm going to banner cut the edge, the end. And then I want, let me grab a dauber. Do I have a blue? I'll use a sponge. I'm going to sponge this into my blue and add a little dimension to the edges. I should have done this before I put the 4 on there. Learn from me. There's ways though. Okay. That helps, but I don't know that I love the hooray hooray on there now. All right, I am going to play with this, and you get the general idea, and I will post pictures of the final card when I finish it. Thanks for the challenge, Heidi.